Welcome to Spiritual Dessert Trews, episode 41 for Russell Brand and other people. We're still reading from the book Autobiography, Story of a Soul with St. Teresa. Looks like that. We're still working on early childhood. So it seems that her and her sister Celine were really close. And her sister Leonie, she thought she had outgrown playing with dolls. She came in to look at us both, and carrying a basket full of dresses and little bits of materials and other curiosities with her doll laid on top. "Here, my dears," she said to us, "choose what you want." Celine examined them all and took a ball of silk braid. After a moment's thought, I put my hand out, saying, "I choose everything," and carried off the basket, doll and all, without more ado. I think this trait of my childhood characterizes the whole of my life. And when I began to think seriously of perfection, I knew that to become a saint, one had to suffer much. Always aim at perfection and forget oneself. I saw that one could be a saint in varying degrees, for we are free to respond to God's invitation by doing much or little in our love for Him to choose, that is, among the sacrifices that He asks. Then, just as before, I cried, "I choose everything." Oh, my God, I do not want to be a saint by halves. I am not afraid to suffer for your sake. I only fear doing my own will. So I give it to you and choose everything that you will. That's opening to the Christ consciousness. "But I am forgetting, Mother. I'm supposed to be only 3 or 4, and here I am talking about my adolescence." She's writing this autobiography, and she skips around. She's very tangential, which is very cool. Like a Virginia Woolf kind of writer. It's kind of the thing. I remember a dream I had at that age, which left a very deep impression. I was walking alone in the garden when suddenly I saw 2 horrible little devils near the arbor dancing on a barrel of lime with amazing agility in spite of having heavy irons on their feet. They looked at me with flaming eyes, then, as if overcome by fear, threw themselves in the twinkling of an eye to the bottom of the barrel. They escaped in some mysterious way and ran off to hide in the linen room, which opens onto the garden. When I saw how cowardly they were, I put my fears aside and went over to the window to see what they were up to. There the little wretches were, running round and round the table and not knowing how to escape my gaze. From time to time they came nearer, still very agitated, to peep through the window. Then, when they saw I was still there, they began racing about in abject misery. I do not suppose this dream was very extraordinary, but I do think God made use of it to show me what a soul in the state of grace need never be afraid. Who is such a coward? Oh, about the devil. Who is such a coward that even the gaze of a child will frighten him away? I was so happy at this age. But 3 or 4, that was the age I prayed every night to live to be 100. Yeah, I loved it too. I thought I was going to live to be 100 years of being 4. It's not the case. Oh, man. Not only because I was beginning to enjoy life, but also because virtue had begun to appeal to me. I think my dispositions were the same then as they are now. I had acquired considerable self-control already. For I never complained when any of my things were taken away from me. And even, if I were unjustly accused, I would keep silent rather than to excuse myself. There was no real virtue in this on my part, for it came naturally. How swiftly these sunny years of childhood passed, yet what delightful memories they left behind. I love to think of the days Father used to take us to the pavilion, and most of all Sunday walks, when Mother came with us. Our Mom was still alive then. I can still feel the deep and poetic impression which the wheat fields made on me, when I saw them all studded with poppies and corn flowers and daisies. She loved flowers. I do too. Even then, I loved far distances, wide spaces, and the trees. The whole of nature, in fact, enchanted me and raised my soul toward heaven. Nature does uplift. So if you want to raise your vibrational frequency, go out, hang out in nature. You can ground your energy by taking off your shoes and or just putting any part of your body on the ground. It can be the cement. It can be your front steps. It doesn't have to. It just has to be a natural substance. So nothing insulated by rubber. And so your shoes, oddly enough, they switched to having from natural bottomed shoes to what they considered to be cheaper and easier to make and perhaps long-lasting and having a little bit of cushion. But like your tires of your car, it insulates and grounds against the electromagnetic force and healing properties of the earth. So what happens is negative ions, if you have an excess, the excess goes down into the ground and it keeps you healthy. Because if you have an excess, you're going to be diseased and unhealthy. So, and vice versa. If you need some, say, positive ions, the earth will also give them to you in your electromagnetic current coming back and forth from earth to you via your feet or anything else touching the ground. Could be your butt. All right, so we're going back to her swift years and her flowers and her delight that she would be able to give something. On the other hand, much of her disgust, she was often taken home when father thought the walk too long for his little queen. However, Celine used to fill her little basket with daisies and bring them home to console her. You can console a saint pretty easily. A flower. The whole world. You know what it is? If you're already content, you're already balanced, there's no way you're going to be off balance by something small. So even something large isn't going to do it either. So we should strive to become like this. Why? Because we can have heaven on earth. If no one's fighting, then there's no more issue. That's it. 'Tis over. The whole world smiled on me whenever I went my path. Oh, my path was strewn with flowers, and my own happy nature helped to make life all the more delightful. But a new period was soon to begin. Since I was to become a spouse of Jesus so young, just being a nun, I had to suffer from childhood. Aww. Spring flowers begin to grow beneath. You know what it is? People that are really super mature, those little indigo babes, the issue is they can't wait to grow up because they got a mission. My mother told me I didn't even take a nap as a baby. I came home and slept through the night. That's crazy! Oh no. Peculiar things. Let's see. So she did have to suffer through childhood, even though she wanted to hurry up and grow up. Spring flowers begin to grow beneath the snow before they open to the sun, and the little flower I'm writing about had to pass through the winter of trials. It's working. Oh, are you sleepy yet? It's working. All right, that was me looking at the timer. That is now chapter 2. Pleasant dreams. Oh, nighty night. Kiss, kiss.